This is Pilates Master Nikki. This month, as we're talking about food, we're going to talk today about microwaves. While they are modern technology and super handy dandy, how do they work? Are they really good for you? All right, so microwaves work by bombarding the food so that they forcefully, violently stimulate the molecules and speed up, especially the water molecules, whereby creating heat and heating up your food. Traditional heating methods with fire or convection oven heat tops work gradually to stimulate the water molecules, and the food cooks gently and at a different speed. So an interesting fact is that 99.9% of Chinese households do not own microwaves. Traditional Chinese medicine, TMC, believes that food has an energetic flow to it, or a qi. The real definition of food, if you look it up in the dictionary, is anything that is consumed that provides nutritional and energetic force to an organism. So food is not just nutritional, it's also energetic. When you bombard your foods with microwave radiation, yes, even though it is non-ionic, it is still a form of radiation. It changes the molecular energetic structure of those food. And Chinese medicine believes that that strongly deteriorates the health, so they don't use microwaves. Heating up food in the traditional method also should be done gradually and gently and for short periods of time, and taking a care not to overcook the food. So the micronutrients that are really not listed on labels and stuff like that are the ones that get really altered with microwave cooking. If you read an instruction booklet on any microwave, it will say to not stand in front of it when using the unit. Why? Why does a microwave encased in metal and special protective glass? Why? Yes, because microwaves do emit radiation, albeit low-level radiation. But if they put it in a steel case so that it doesn't bombard you as it cooks the food, what is it really doing to our food? Exactly. I don't own a microwave. I've never owned a microwave, but that's just moi. So this is Pilates Master Nikki, and I'm zapping you, and hopefully you're throwing that microwave right out the door. I'll see you online in class. This is Pilates Master Nikki. Today we continue to dive into foods. Which is best, frozen, canned, or fresh? Obviously, fresh, hands down, will always have a higher value of vitamins, nutrients, but also phytochemicals and micronutrients, which are things that are not generically listed on labels or in most modern food descriptions or diets. Obviously, fresh is king also for flavor and for a higher content of fiber. But let's look into canned foods because we all use them, and frozen. Between those two, which do you think is best? So, frozen foods are all blanched, quickly cooked to kill the bacteria. Yes, and it also kills the good bacteria. And then it is flash frozen in a violent, abrupt manner that they claim is to lock in flavor and nutrition and all of those things. However, that freezing does kill the life force of that food, and it does really damage the phytochemicals of the food. Frozen, okay? The canned foods, on the other hand, are even a step further down on the ladder. Canned foods usually have a much higher sodium content to enhance the flavor because they lose a lot in the canning process, because the canning of that food requires an elevated temperature, again, to kill off the bacteria, and it kills off the good and the bad, and therefore they add high amounts of salt and sugars and other things in the food to enhance the flavor. canned food has a much lower fiber content because it's all sitting in that mushiness in that can. Okay, we all use canned things once in a while. I know. And even though they say canned tomatoes have a higher level of leopectin because the canning process frees that agent so you absorb it better, blah, blah, blah. It's always best to use fresh and seasonal and local vegetables. But when you cannot, frozen is obviously better than canned. When in doubt, have a glass of water. This is Pilates Master Nikki, and I hope it's mineral water. I'll see you online in class, and no, I'm not frozen or canned yet. This is Pilates Master Nikki. As we talk about food, let's dive into microbiotic food. So what is that? So we know what vegan is, we know what vegetarian is, but microbiotic diets are really not understood by many people. So the microbiotic theme of food originates from ancient Japanese traditional ways of living and eating food. Microbiotic is more of a lifestyle than it is a rigid diet. A lot of people say that microbiotics don't eat dairy and don't eat this and don't eat that. That is not accurate. The premise behind the microbiotic diet is something that I strongly believe in, is that we are living organisms. And you want to eat food that is living, not dead. So things that are in a plastic bag, bread that's in a bag, things that are frozen, things that are canned, are not any longer containing the phytochemicals and micronutrients of a living organism. And as much as the vegetarians only want to eat vegetables because they don't want to kill anything, I have news for you, sweet cakes. All vegetables are living. And their latest new science by Federico Fagin has now discovered that vegetables have consciousness, just like animals do. So, and obviously some humans. So, yes, okay, you don't want to eat a little fishy or a little cow. I understand that. But you do need to eat foods that are alive. So that microbiotic diet is based on things that are living, fresh things, vegetables, fruits, whole grains, brown rice that has not been blanched and stripped away of its whole food source, beans, legumes, right? The sprouts, the living sprouts, the mung beans and the alfalfa sprouts, all of those things, seed foods, nut foods are all considered superfoods. But what about seaweed? Is there seaweed in your diet? What? Yeah, like, the wakambi and all those little seaweed flakes that you can put on your food in lieu of salt are fantastic. But even just taking spirulina is really good to balance out your food. So that microbiotic living with the sea vegetables, then all of that, what they try to do is avoid and not eat those refined sugars. They don't want artificial ingredients. They try not to eat the canned or the frozen foods. Dried foods are a little bit better, I would say a lot better, depending on the drying process, because if they're dried correctly, slowly and evenly, and not using forced extreme heat and such, they do retain a lot of their value, like dried herbs and dried meats and dried fishes and stuff like that. Yes, there is some lean meats and fish in the microbiotic diet, but the strong thing besides just the living food is the fermented foods. Fermented foods are a trifecta of health because the fermented food has live bacteria. So that is going to help you fighting inflammation. That fermented food helps boost the immune system. It helps the digestion, all of that, the diverticulitis and all of those antacids that you're taking is because your flora in there is all upset. And the fermented foods really help you extract and absorb more vitamins out of your food. So fermented foods are easy. You can make them. There's a lot of easy things online you can look at. Sauerkraut, cabbage, phenomenal. It's a superfood. Olives, anything that's pickled. Yes, yogurt, the miso that you can buy in a in a little paste or even in powder, and then you add warm water you never boil, is an amazing fermented food. Yes, the yogurt, kimchi, and of course the kombucha. But it doesn't have to be fancy-pantsy. It can be plain old fermented natural cheeses, right? A lot of the people go, no, microbiotic don't eat cheese. They do. They eat local, real fermented cheeses that are made from natural ingredients. It's about creating a balance in your body because you are a living organism and your food should be alive. This is Pilates Master Nikki, and right now I'm still living, and I'll see you online in class. This is Pilates Master Nikki. Today we're going to discuss real food versus supplements. What is the difference? So, while we all take supplements, and some level of supplements are actually very beneficial, real food is hands down always going to trump any vegetable, any supplement that you may take, especially if you take ones that are synthetically and chemically derived. So the new premise is everyone thinks and is being told that they are deficient in vitamin D because we're all wearing the sunscreen. And why this, yes, can be true. Yes, you can get your vitamin D from natural sources, something simple like even fish or fish oil. The problem with supplements is that the body does not recognize supplements as real food. Let's just look at coconut water. Not the milk per se, just the coconut water. Coconut water has such a perfect balance of things like manganese, magnesium, phosphorus, zinc, potassium, and a bunch of other mineral and electrolytes that are in that water. That coconut water is very similar to the plasma of our blood. Ancient times, right, during the war, they used to use coconut water directly into the blood intravenously when people were wounded and out in that horrible field there to help them regain their health, because coconut water is a natural food. It's a superfood. It's rich in all kinds of things, but in a specific balance. So although you may take megadoses of D, D will not be absorbed unless you have the right amount of magnesium, manganese, phosphate, zinc, and other things. There are over 100 different minerals, and there are microminerals that you don't even maybe know about, right? There are micronutrients, photochemicals that are in such minute, like cobalt, chloride, iodine. There are so many things that you don't really think about that are in foods. So while supplementation is good, you need to be very careful about not to over supplement because it can become extremely toxic. Fat soluble vitamins like the A, the D, and these kinds like that, the E and the K, can build up in the body and create levels that become toxic. The problem with the supplements and the vitamins is that the FDA does not regulate, does not control them. So what they say on the label is not necessarily true about the contents. There is no real testing. There is no rigorous control. And so they can claim this and they can claim that. And everyone, starts to self-medicate and take a million things. When I use supplements, I use whole food sourced supplements. Some of my favorite brands are the Yarrow and, of course, the New Chapter. So you have to read the labels. You want to use things that are made and derived from whole food sources, supplements that contain probiotics and prebiotics, and that are a whole synergistic blend as opposed to just one vitamin. Those are the ones that are going to be more beneficial. Supplements do fill gaps in your body's vitamin and mineral level. If you've been under duress, if you've been really ill, if you've had surgery, if you're pregnant, then yes, you do need supplementation. Always look for whole food source. Always make sure that the levels of the vitamins are not megadoses. You do not need thousands and thousands of units of anything. Remember, nature is never wrong. When in doubt, eat real food. This is Pilates Master Nikki, and I'll see you online in class.